Hey guys, it's Kenny Clark with the Green Bay Packers, and you're listening to the Packer Fan Podcast.
The Pack had some much-needed rest this week, and we're more than ready for the divisional matchup this coming weekend. We'll preview that game against the Bears, along with some feedback from the community. All this and more coming up on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Welcome back. It's great to have you with us. Wayne Henderson from MediaVoiceovers.com, and I am amped up for the home stretch of the Packers season. How about you, sir?
Oh, you have no idea, man. It's getting close. You can smell the playoffs, can't you? You can smell it.
That's because we're Packers fans.
And I'm Scott Clark from The Gaming Outsider. I got to say, it was kind of a bummer to not have a Packers game to watch this week, but I'm still very thankful that the Green and Gold had a chance to heal up from some injuries. And we still had plenty of other important games to watch as well. It's episode 242 of the Packers Fan Podcast, and we'll start by sharing your listener feedback, including the results to our weekly poll question on Twitter and Facebook.
And then in just a little bit, we will preview this week's Bears at Packers rematch game, and of course include Scott's keys to a Packers victory. So let's dig in with some listener feedback, and next week's going to be really odd and strange. So let me explain it to you. We love you, and we love hearing from you, and our voicemail number, which is always open, is area code 920-3PACK-GO, and you can always send your voice message to feedback@PackersFanPodcast.com. But this week's going to be a bit different due to how late the Packers game is going to be on. And I've had something come up really last minute, so we'll need to record the podcast immediately following the game, or even earlier if it's a blowout. So this won't allow me to play the voicemails while recording the show and then have us comment on your great thoughts. However, since I don't get a chance to really do the final editing until early Monday morning, if you do send us in a voicemail, I will edit it into the podcast. We just won't get a chance to comment on your thoughts. So I apologize. Crazy week. We'll be back to normal, whatever that is, next week. Thank you for understanding, and go Pack, go.
So that means if anybody does call in, you'll put those voicemails in the episode right about here.
Somewhere in that general vicinity, and we'll just edit them in so other listeners will be able to hear it. We just won't be able to comment on it. We'll be back to normal next week. Well, our weekly poll on the Facebook group at PackersCommunity.com, as well as on Twitter at PackersFanPod, with the Vikings losing to the Lions, which still cracks me up. Our Packers move a notch closer to clinching the NFC North. So the question is, how many more weeks until the Packers clinch the North? Will it be this coming weekend? Or will it be in 2 weeks? Or maybe even things go crazy and we don't wrap it up for 3 weeks. So which way are you leaning?
Well, it depends. I was trying to look it up right now. The Vikings play Pittsburgh. So I'm going to say the Vikings will win that game.
Bummer.
There's no way they're going to come off of a loss against Detroit and then lose again to Pittsburgh. I just can't see that happening. So in order for us to clinch, we got one of the three, right? We needed any combination of 3 Packers wins or 3 Vikings losses or any combination of those two things.
So it's now 2.
It's now 2 because the Vikings obviously lost. So that means we should beat the Bears. We should. If we don't beat the Bears, then we got some serious issues. And I'm going to go ahead and say that the Vikings will beat Pittsburgh. So I'm going to say the week after that will be when we clinch it. So that's 2 weeks.
And that way we can clinch it either with a Vikings loss that following week or if we beat the Ravens in Baltimore. So You're going to say in 2 weeks. I think the Steelers are going to step up and help us out, and we're going to beat the Bears, and we are going to clinch the division this Sunday night when we record our crazy late, right after the game episode. Sorry to keep you up late, Scott. I appreciate it.
That's all right, man.
The votes that came in, pretty close to 50-50, even though there were 3 choices. 48% say it's going to happen this weekend. 52% are kind of on your bandwagon, saying it's going to be in 2 weeks, and nobody thought it's going to take 3 weeks. So there you go.
I love how you did not give an option for 4 weeks or beyond or not at all because, you're waiting.
Well, I did think about it for just a moment, and then I rethought it. Like, don't be ridiculous. It's not going to happen.
Well, we had some comments on this poll as well. First off, David in the Facebook group said, I think Minnesota will beat Pittsburgh at home on Thursday. Lions offense has looked bad, but so has Steelers, and I think Minnesota's defense will play better at home. Thus, if Green Bay takes care of business, they should be division champs in 2 weeks. Pretty much echoing exactly what I'm saying. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, David, for the comment. And if you too would like to join the Facebook group, join in the conversations, and be a part of the Packers Fan Podcast, let your voice be heard. We would love to hear from you. We had some other great posts and comments unrelated to the poll question, which were made in the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community group at packerscommunity.com. First off, Garrett says, could you guys discuss the future games that remain of the schedule and to the degree of importance of each one? Let's do that, Wayne. Looking at the schedule, obviously this week is Chicago. That's important just for rivalry reasons, if nothing else. We have to win that game just for morale.
Especially because of what happened when we beat them in Chicago. It's even more important to win that one.
I mean, and I think that the Minnesota game will be important as well because more than likely we will have clinched the North by that point. Hopefully we will have clinched the North by that point, but Minnesota will be scraping to try to get a wild card, and I don't want the Vikings to make it to the playoffs. I just don't. I think the toughest game we've got remaining is Baltimore. I think that'll be the toughest in terms of can we get past them because Lamar Jackson's a real deal, man.
And the game's in Baltimore. And
right.
December 19th, it's going to be chilly. I agree with you on those. I do think the Browns game on Christmas Day is important. They're all going to be important because even when we clinch the NFC North, then it's on to the next level. Then we got to look at trying to become the number 1 seed. We got to still catch Arizona, but I think that could definitely happen. So really, each and every game is important. Maybe we will have the number 1 seed wrapped up, and by the time we get to the Lions game to close out the year, we'll just be, playing Jordan Love and the gang and kind of going from there. So I really think that the division games, super important. And if we can beat the Ravens on the road, that would just be a nice feather in the cap.
But how cool is it we get to play on Christmas? I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, especially this year because of how everything's falling and when kids can come and this and that. My wife and I are going to pretty much be alone on Christmas Day. We're going to celebrate Christmas Eve and then the day before Christmas Eve. So Christmas Day, people may pop by, but the Packers-Browns game will be on.
Absolutely. I'm lucky enough to be married to a woman whose parents both love to watch football and are both Packers fans. So football will definitely be on. I mean, Thanksgiving, it was football. It was on the entire time, even while we were eating dinner. Like, it's just on there in the background. So I do love that about my family, is we get to watch football no matter what. Nobody turns their nose up. Well, I guess her sister does, but she just kind of hangs out anyway.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Garrett goes on to say, also, what is your thoughts on who will return to playing before the season ends from injuries, and which position is most important to have some reps before the playoffs? I'm going to say Bakhtiari right out the gate. I don't really know.
They keep teasing us week after week that he might return to practice this week. We may see him this coming Sunday, and maybe we will, maybe we won't. But I would love to see him come in because he is one of the best in the NFL and could make a definite impact. Anybody else?
Oh, boy. I'm trying to think of who's still out. I mean, obviously, I know Cobb's back this week, though, right?
I believe so, yeah. There's such a huge collection of Packers players that are injured on defense especially, and I think getting any of them back that have the capability of coming back, and they were teased today by Coach LaFleur in his press conference that they might return, but early in the week, we're always ever hopeful. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I think number one, if D-Bach can be Bach, then we're on a roll.
I agree. Imagine how well we could do with that extra awesome protection on that side of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, because he still hasn't decided whether he's going to get surgery for that toe issue. I'm glad he's gotten the bye week to rest up on it, but I don't think it's gone away or anything. So protect Aaron Rodgers. Now, we did get an email this week. Wayne Henderson and Spicy Scott Clark. Go Pack Go, Go Pack Go, Go Pack Go. Stephen Vaherin checking in from Palace Park, Illinois. It's our bye week, and I suspect that a lot of callers will be resting their voices. He gave call-outs to Andre from L.A., Megan, even Mark from New Lisbon, Dan and Art and the rest. But I'm still here, and it's nice to write an email without having to rush through writing it. Stephen, we don't rush you through writing it. You've got hours and hours. You can pare it down, and there's no rush. There's no rush. There's a deadline, but it's not a rush. Anyway, he continues, I'd like to wish happy belated birthdays to both Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones on December 2nd, as well as on December 3rd, Rashawn Gary.
Nice.
And how crazy is that Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones have the same birthday?
2 Aarons. We got 3 Rodgers.
We're a collection right there.
A lot of Smiths.
And now to look on to the next game, which is against the Chicago Bears, and who will be starting at quarterback for the Bears since Justin Fields missed the Bears game recently and Andy Dalton has started up until now. I did not think he looked all that sharp, so it's going to be a guessing game to see which quarterback we get. Also, Scott, did you get a bet going with your boss again after all?
No, I did not. Although I did take a screenshot of Steven's email from last week where he talked about that, and I sent it to my boss, and she thought it was hilarious. I don't know if I talked about this last week or not.
You did, yeah.
Did I? Yeah, it was really funny. She asked for the timestamp.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, I was like, no, you want to hear it? Listen to the whole episode.
You never know where that shout out will be.
I know.
Steven continues, the last time the Packers won their game coming out of their bye week, you have to go back to week 5 of the 2016 season against the New York Giants when we won 23-16, October 9th, 2016, and that was at Lambeau Field. And I think one of the reasons that we haven't won coming out of our bye week the past few years is because it's been like a road game to Frisco and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
This bye week, we're at home hosting the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, this is a LaFleur streak I would like to see broken.
You will see it broken Sunday night. Okay, I'm going to check out for now. And as always, I can't wait to hear the podcast episode when it comes out. Go Pack Go, Go Pack Go, Go Pack Go. Stephen Behr, thank you for your email, sir.
Thank you, Stephen, and thank you to everybody who writes in each week. We do love hearing from you. And as always, those calls, emails, comments, and support are so much appreciated and definitely a part of the Packers Fan Podcast. Thank you. Remember, you too can join the Packers Fan Podcast community and be part of the conversations at packerscommunity.com.
And now it's Bears week, people. Your 9-3 Green Bay Packers are back at Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers has invited the 4-8 Chicago Bears to his ownership meeting Sunday, December 12th at 5:25 p.m. Pacific time, which I guess that's 7:25 Central for you.
Correct.
The Packers do lead the series. Do not forget that. We beat the Bears 102 times compared to 95 and 6 ties. And we all remember the victory in Chicago a couple months back when AR-12's proclamations went out of owning the Bears. And don't you agree that's going to add some extra spice to this rematch?
I can hear the announcers talking about it before the game already. They're going to replay that clip. You know what's going to happen. It's going to be on the tip of every announcer's tongue.
I'm most excited to see what type of creativity some of the Packers fans in the stands are going to have with their signage.
Yeah.
Because it is going to be on point.
I wonder if any Packers fans will bring their recently acquired ownership certificates and just have them all held up in the stands. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
That's a nice twist. I would bring a facsimile, a Xerox copy. Go. I would not bring my original.
You said facsimile and Xerox in the same sentence. I think I just aged a little bit. I haven't heard anybody say facsimile.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Bring a screenshot to the game?
I just, a copy. I don't know, a photocopy. A facsimile. I love you, Wayne.
Let's just say, remember, my day job is working in a print shop all day.
There you go.
Those words are in my vocabulary. And, of course, if the Packers win and the Vikings lose, we'll be clinching the NFC North, which will be even spicier. Mm-hmm. And when I think of the Bears-Packers rivalry, the first thing that jumps to my mind is January 23rd, 2011, when B.J. Raji caught an interception, ran it in for that amazing touchdown that seemed to take forever to happen, and helped the Packers beat the Bears 21-14. So, Scott, when you think of the Bears-Packers rivalry, what memory pops into your head first?
The exact same game you talked about, man. That one was for sure. I was watching the game with a very good buddy of mine who is a massive Bears fan, and we made a wager before the game that whoever lost the game because we were going to watch the Super Bowl together, had to wear the opposing jersey to the Super Bowl party. And it was hilarious because the buddy who I made the bet with is a bigger fella. He's much larger than I am, so there was no way he was going to squeeze into any one of my jerseys or anything like that. So I had to hunt down the largest sweatshirt that I could find, and it was still very, very tight on him. I got to find that picture because I got a picture of me sitting on the couch with him, like with my arm around him, and it's a very, very tight shirt. It was, but we also like lined up for this game. I have a picture I could show you later when we were in my basement and we just did like the nose to nose. Like I was wearing the Packers jersey, he was wearing a Bears jersey, and we did like the face off kind of thing. And he was trying very, very hard not to laugh, and
because he knew he'd be wearing a Packers shirt of some sort in just a few days.
Pretty much, but he was a good sport. He did wear it to the day of the next game, and that Super Bowl was fantastic. I actually have video of me along with another Packer fan buddy and my brother. We had some beverages, and right at the end of the game, we started singing at the top of our lungs, bang on the drum, in a bit of a stupor, and it was quite the hilarious. Because I remember it was, yes I do. We're all like singing that song. It was great. I got to find that video to show it to you. It was great.
Oh, I can only imagine, and that wager that you made with him is kind of the inspiration for our annual Wager O Fun competition.
Yeah, which I still have a chance. I still have a smidgen of a chance to catch up to.
And someday I will be back in the Chicago area. Stop by Rockford, find Culver's, bring my autographed Henderson jersey. Not autographed by me, obviously. And, anyway, Sunday evening's weather in Green Bay for this game is currently forecast to be cold. Dang cold. Mostly clear. About 32 degrees Fahrenheit at kickoff, which is 0 degrees Celsius, so bundle up, people.
You think that's cold, man?
Well, you mentioned earlier how the announcers at the game are all going to be talking about the I still own you and all that. They're also going to be talking about the Ice Bowl probably and how cold it is. So I think everybody, except for you natives, think that it's cold.
Oh, I mean, it's chilly. I'm not going out in shorts and a T-shirt. Oh,
it's chilly. You might still fire at the barbecue in the backyard.
Yeah, exactly. It's never too cold for, good old grill action. Well, let's go ahead and move on to my keys to a Packers victory over the Bears. Number one thing I'm going to say is that the Packers need to capitalize on turnovers. The quarterback position is, as it usually is, a bit shaky in Chicago. We still don't know if Justin Fields or Andy Dalton will be taking snaps this week, but either option is prime opportunity for interceptions. Although not all of Dalton's 4 picks this week were his fault, our secondary has had so many opportunities with far better quarterbacks than either Dalton or Fields. So this is our secondary really needs to capitalize on those chances this time and come away with them. Not this tipping stuff. Just get your hands on that ball and bring it back. This is a game where players like Stokes and Amos and King and Alexander and the rest should focus on taking the ball away from whomever is under center to keep the ball on the right side of the field. Secondly, you knew this was coming, but be careful with the overconfidence. The Packers are heavy favorites this week with a spread of around 13 points. That is a huge, huge spread. But the Lions proved this week that anything can happen on any given Sunday. Rodgers definitely has the I still own you mentality, but that shouldn't get to his or any of the team's heads going into this matchup. No game is ever a gimme, so the Pack should focus on locking up the North and utterly destroying the Bears instead of giving the hometown crowd another nail-biter. Don't just say you're going to own them, actually do it.
Ooh.
And lastly, shake off the drama and just play football. I don't know about all of you, but I am tired of hearing about whether Rodgers wants to leave. I'm tired of hearing about COVID. I'm tired about hearing about his toe. I'm tired of all of it. The Packers have done a good job thus far not letting any of that drama keep them from winning, but the media isn't going to stop reminding them or us about everything that puts a question mark in the minds of fans. Be an Elsa and just let it go already. I'm more interested I'm more interested in the number in the W column going up, and so should everyone on the Packers bench. Focus on the game and the game alone, and do whatever it takes to embarrass the visiting Bears.
I like it. I'm even more amped up because, I do want a just demolition of the Bears. And, it's fine for us fans to be overconfident, but you're right. That the players, let's focus. Division game. The NFC North crown is in sight. And I like number 1, capitalize on turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, if he threw 4 this past week, I could not believe that. When he threw that 4th one, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because I was rooting for the Bears this weekend. I was like, Dalton, you were killing me here.
I know we didn't want to root for the Bears. Just mathematically, in order to help the Packers, it would have done us a huge favor.
Oh, we'd be the number 1 seed right now if they were.
Yeah, I know. Because it was in Chicago. It was cold and rainy. The Cardinals, the weather should have been their downfall, but thanks, Bears, for nothing. And now you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
So do you see a 13-point margin of victory like the Vegas line, I guess?
No, absolutely not. I was thinking about this when I was putting together a score prediction. You know, I just talked about how Andy Dalton threw 4 picks, right?
Right.
But the Bears still looked pretty good. They still threw up 22 points. It really looks like they should have lost by a lot more than they did. So I don't think it's going to be nearly the blowout that everybody thinks it's going to be. So I'm going to say Packers 28, Bears 24.
Another nail biter. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
I'm going to call for the Packers to win by 13, and this was before any mention of that Vegas line came up. Packers 30, and the Bears will be lucky to have 17 points at the end of this.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
I do too. I really do. I'm close to clinching the 2021 Wager O Fun.
Yeah. Don't remind me. Well, if that goes into playoffs, right? Those games still count.
It's a regular season thing.
Oh, come on.
But of course, if the Packers do go to the Super Bowl, we may have to do a special thing to guess the Packers' margin of victory in the Super Bowl against whoever we're going to play against.
There you go.
The NFC North, Packers 9-3, Vikings 5-7, and they still have some fans talking about we're the best 5-7 team. There's no such thing. Bears 4-8, and the Lions getting that victory 10-1.
Did you see when they won that game? You'd have thought they won the Super Bowl.
Heck,
How excited they were.
I was almost as excited because, it's always good to beat the Vikings. That helps us out. And I was kind of feeling bad for the Lions, and they were so close. And then the Vikings scored with like 90 seconds left. And I thought, well, that's it. Because, the Lions aren't Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But somehow they pulled it off.
I didn't get to watch it live, but I saw the highlights, and I was like, because you were texting me saying that they basically lost it.
I thought for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even seek it out, and I was watching the next game, and all of a sudden they showed the replay, and I was like, oh no way, that's great. Helped us out considerably.
And thankfully, this is the final bye week of the season coming up. The Colts, Dolphins, Patriots, and Eagles. That is a late season bye. If I thought mine was late, one more week, yikes.
Yeah. And my fantasy football team says thank you. Holy cow, it was rough getting through those bye weeks.
It was rough getting through this particular bye week. I got demolished because I had to put Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams on the bench.
Yeah, that's why you got to be careful with those bye weeks, man.
Well, my backup wasn't what he was cracked up to be, so whatever.
I feel your pain. Well, I am going to unseat an undefeated player this week, so I'm excited about that for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, if you love video games as much as I do, and I love some video games, I want to remind you that I've got another podcast called The Gaming Outsider, where we chat about my other favorite hobby each and every week. This week, it's our last community questions episode of the year, and I'm really excited. We ask our listeners every month for video game-related questions, and we'll be answering them on the show. There may be some Christmas-related talk as well. I've done a preview of some of the questions, so be sure to check that out. We also played a new space shooter called Chorus that feels a whole lot like Crimson Skies, a game that we all loved from the original Xbox days. It's really good. And I would love to hear your thoughts on the show. Our website is thegamingoutsider.com, or you can listen to our episodes on the same place you listen to this fine show. Wayne, what about you?
Excellent. Well, I've got my Doctor Who podcast, which is called Don't Blink. And last night was the short season finale episode of Doctor Who. I'm definitely going to need to watch that again later tonight when I'm done with posting this podcast, because there was a lot happening. And so it was a pretty strong season finale. I'll be talking about it later this week on Don't Blink. You can check it out at don'tblinkpodcast.com.
Well, we definitely value our MVP, and we also value each and every one of you, which is why we have a value for value model here over at Packers Fan Podcast. And you can help us out over on Patreon. It's a place that you can go to help financially support your Packers Fan Podcast if it's in your budget. Details can be found at patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast. Got some people to thank for their contributions. First off, a huge Go Pack Go to Dan Dyler for the Jim Ringo patronage. We really do appreciate that there. Another thank you and Go Pack goes to the Willie Wood level supporter Bryant and Jay Walters. Thank you and Go Pack goes for your AR12 level support.
And thank yous and Go Pack goes to the Brett Favre inspired Packers Fan Podcast supporters Miguel Ramirez from the Opposites Attract podcast, Jeff Summerfield, Lawrence Harvey, Andre in LA, Colin Nolan from Ireland, and Scott Boers. And at the Curly Lambeau level, Go Pack goes to Joe Christensen, Hank Davis from the TPE network of podcasts, Matt Haig, and Beth Mintick. Thanks again for all your support. If you too are interested in becoming a patron of the Packers Fan Podcast, check out the details at patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast. And remember, next week's going to be a little bit crazy. We are so excited to be able to be talking about another game, especially a victory. But we are recording it right after the game, so we won't really have any listener feedback, especially not emails, but voicemails. If they come in before I post it, I'll cut and splice them right in there, and at least folks can share your great thoughts. And then again, after the Ravens game the following week, it's back to business as normal.
Would also like to remind everybody once again that we are the unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, not yet affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers, but we would love to be one day. Put in a good word for us. We'd really appreciate it. And please follow the Packers Fan Podcast where you listen to your podcast, and please tell a friend. If they're Packers fans, they should be listening to the Packers Fan Podcast.
Or even if they're, for some crazy reason, a Bears fan, tell them to check out the Packers Fan Podcast.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. And you, sir, you're still at GoCastScott, correct?
Yes, sir.
Just making sure. I'm at Wayne Henderson. And now it's Patreon supporter Dan Dyler to get us even more amped up to demolish the Chicago Bears.
Hey, Packers Fan Podcast listeners. This is your cheesehead from Indianapolis, Dan. And I have just two words for you. Go, 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 Pack, go!